Morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday, the 11th day of April, 2025. Happy Friday to you. I hope you're all safe and healthy. I hope your family is safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, and health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are sometimes risking their lives to save lives. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage, keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and children that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are victims of pornography and child pornography, prostitution, child prostitution, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, the profiteers, and the perverts that create the demand to have these industries exist. Finally, blessings upon the homeless, more than 600,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, and military veterans on the streets of the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There was a basketball game last night in Detroit, Michigan, and the New York Knicks fell to the Detroit Pistons 115 to 106. Someone asked me the other day after the Boston loss if I was angry, and I said I wasn't. But I was angry after this particular game. I did. It was on my mind all night. It was bothering me, and I'll tell you why. The main reason the Knicks lost this game is because they got manhandled by the Detroit Pistons. They got bullyballed. They got manhandled. They had grown-ass man energy placed against them last night. That was it. And the thing is that let me give the proper shout-outs. Precious Achua came to play. Deuce McBride came to play. P.J. Tucker came to play. And Landry Shamet came to play. Brunson was not himself. I don't know if it was he sprained his right ankle last night, if it was them silly behind sneakers he was wearing. I don't know what it was, but he was not himself yesterday. It wasn't just, he shot 5 of 15 and 3 of 9. You're looking at the stats, he scored 15 points. But the heart, the spirit, the takeover in it, that is Jalen Brunson, the clutch, it was all not there last night. And when he fell, he got knocked down, and Dennis Schroeder stood over him like that. That was indicative of the game. P.J. Tucker came and did the same thing to Schroeder later, and this was indicative. When Schroeder fell, he was cracking up laughing. It was indicative of the game. Karl-Anthony Towns, if you look at his stats, 25 points, 10 boards, 5 assists, it all looks nice. But he played horrible defense yesterday. It was worse than usual. And then in the beginning of the game, he was trying to guard Jalen Duren. And that wasn't working out. And within, I would say, 5 minutes of the first quarter, they switched and put Precious on Jalen Duren, and that started the Knicks' run. They put Precious on Jalen Duren, and I don't even know who Cat was guarding. He probably didn't know. He was either guarding Tobias. I think he was guarding Tobias Harris, and that worked out better. Yeah, he is a problem for us defensively. Yeah, and I'm not. And for all you know, excuse Newt Rockney, Vince Lombardi, old cliche type dude. No, there's no excuse missing OG or MitchRob or Hart. Against the Boston Celtics, the world champions, that would be different. But not Detroit. I'm not saying Detroit stink, but the Knicks should have won this. The Knicks had enough firepower available to win this game. Put it that way. The Knicks had enough firepower available to win this game. Okay, Cat not only was horrible defensively, he had 7 turnovers. And this is the thing. There's a turnovers. Turnovers are bad, period. But let me just explain briefly the costly turnover. There's a difference between a turnover and a costly turnover. What's a costly turnover? A costly turnover is a turnover where you are trying to make a run and the turnover stops the run. Defense might have been involved or not, or if it was something that you just threw the ball away, as his case, that turnover stops a run. And to compound it, it not only stops a run, but generally after the turnover, the opponent scores. That's the worst case scenario. So your turnover, you were making a run, and your turnover stops the run. Gives them a stop, and then they score after that. Cat had at least 2 or 3 of those yesterday. Okay? That's a costly turn. He had too many costly turnovers, and they happen during, like I said, when you're trying to make a run. That was terrible. Mikal Bridges, it was almost like his mind wasn't in the game. That's what it appeared to me. He didn't appear to have his mind fully in the game. That's what it was. And they were bodying him, bullying him. Now, he's been through that before. Skinny as he is, he's handled that before. But he didn't appear to be all the way there. It was like something else was on his mind, and he wasn't fully engaged mentally in the game. Precious, 18 points, 10 boards, 3 blocks, 2 steals, 3 assists. He was in the game. And the stats, in his case, the stats reveal that. He was involved in the game. Deuce McBride, he had 12 points, 6 assists. He had 4 steals, including one at the end where it could have helped us make a run if Cat didn't turn the ball over. But he shot 2 of 10 from 3. He could not hit the ball inside of a barn. And the thing that bothered me is you got 6'1" Deuce guarding pretty much, they list him as 6'6", but he's about 6'7", Cade Cunningham. And Deuce could guard him on the perimeter. But Cade, one of the things, like I told y'all, that makes him that dude coming out of Oklahoma State is one of the things he knows how to do is take advantage of size mismatches. He looked like he got a 7-foot wingspan. I don't know if he does, but he knows how to use it. He was using jump hooks on Deuce yesterday. Because Deuce can't guard, you can't protect. It's like Jabbar trying to be guarded by somebody 6'5", with the sky hook. Forget it, right? So what should have happened is when he got into the paint, or if he was close to getting into the paint, somebody should have doubled him or came at him so he got rid of the basketball. That's what should have happened. Never did. The whole night. That's a problem. So Deuce was left on the island with a dude almost a foot taller than him, or 6 inches taller than him, okay? With a wingspan that makes him look like a foot taller than him. That's not, no, you can't do that. And yeah, no. So Shamet come off the bench, and it was the first thing that struck me about him, he was locking down on defense. He really was. And then somebody talked mess to him in the crowd. I don't know why he did that. And he started shooting the ball and talking back. Shamet came to play. Cameron Payne, another one. He was +6, and I don't know how he was because his head wasn't in the game either. And he knew it. And this is the second game in a row. The first game against Boston, his head wasn't in the game at all. Taking bad shots at bad times. I mean, there's shots that look bad for Cameron Payne, but for him are good shots. But then there's shots he's just throwing mess up. And he has no business doing that. You wonder what he's thinking. And he must have got chewed out by Tiz, because in the Boston game, you see Karl-Anthony Towns go and sit next to him and grab him, put his arm around him and talk to him, because he know he was having a hard game. It didn't get any better against Detroit. P.J. Tucker came to play. The 39-year-old man had 6 boards, and they were big boards, and he came and played tough, and he brought the toughness that we all knew he had coming over to the Knicks. And he played 27 minutes. A pro's pro. That's the guy we got there. And, he's the new Taj Gibson. But the toughness he brought last night was important when we was getting punked constantly. We was getting punked by Detroit yesterday. We was getting punked. And so all of this, I'm saying, I don't know. Put it this way. There's got to be a change in attitude, in spirit before the playoffs. That's number one. We cannot have Jalen Brunson being so timid, being so weak. We need his leadership. See, he is the head of the snake. And if you ain't got him going, it's hard to win when you're the Knicks. If you're missing him a game and you got to start Deuce, you could win. The Knicks have done that. But the thing that makes us who we are and gets us where we are is Jalen Brunson. So we need him to be him. I don't know how bad his ankle is, but tonight they play Cleveland. Now, this is the thing. Cleveland, Detroit, and Indiana all play tonight. For all three, and New York, and for all three teams, all four teams, it's the second night of a back-to-back. Now, last night, Indiana beat Cleveland by 2, and that was Cleveland's bench that was playing. That wasn't even, you didn't have no Donovan Mitchell, no Darius Garland, no Evan Mobley. They have none of them. And they almost beat Indiana. It came down to 9 seconds. That's it. Came down to last possession, 9 seconds. So I don't know. The reason I mention that is I don't know tonight if Cleveland ain't going to bring their full contention against the Knicks. As you know, the reason Boston did is to send a mental message. This is the time for mental games. This is the beginning of the playoff season. So everybody's trying to send a message. They're trying to get a mental edge. Boston, that's why they put out their full contingent. The coach is trying to get a mental edge, a psychological edge on the Knicks, knowing that the Knicks have never beaten them, but also knowing they weren't at full strength. So they wanted to win that game to let the Knicks know, listen, you can't beat us psychologically. You can't beat us, even at full strength. And I said yesterday that Brunson is the difference there, that he's the difference to overcome a psychological block like that, him and Hart, but especially him. So for him to not show up last night was problematic. So I don't know what Cleveland's going to do, but I'm hoping that the Knicks play. Well, Mitchell Robinson's is going to play tonight. Put it that way. I wouldn't mind if Cat sat tonight. With that, I don't mind. Matter of fact, I wouldn't mind if you start MitchRob, OG, Deuce, Hart, and Precious, or Mikal. Even though Mikal, his behind ain't been in the game mentally either. But we need some defense. Now, we got the talent to play defense, but we got to start defensively. We can't have Cat waking up 6 minutes into the first quarter. You got to start the game awake, okay? And he was laughing and joking around while they getting bodied by Jalen Duren. So, I don't know what they're going to do tonight. I don't know what Cleveland going to do. I don't know what the Knicks going to do. The Knicks do need to win one of these last 2 games to clinch the 3rd seed. I'm confident they could do that, but they need to do that. If Cleveland comes out with a bench unit like they did last night, we should be in good shape, but I ain't guaranteeing that. I would not be surprised if you saw Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and Max Strus. I would not be surprised. Or DeAndre Hunter started last night, so they played him. But I wouldn't be surprised if they came out with their full contingent tonight. Because for the teams that are not in the play-in, the last game is Sunday. The last game of the NBA season is this coming Sunday. And you got a whole week until your playoff games start. The play-in dudes got to play during the middle of this next week, but if you're in the top 6, you ain't got to play for a whole week. You get a whole week off. So some players can sit now, but it's not necessary. You're going to have a whole week. So I would not be surprised if Cleveland decide we're going to send a psychological message to the Knicks and beat their ass today. I would not be surprised if they did that. Okay. I also wouldn't be surprised if Tibbs would counter that by saying, okay, we're going to play our full contingent and show you that we could beat you. That is the chess move. I don't know what they're going to make. Okay. But it is what it is. I'm not going to see the game live. Glad I'll tape it and come back tomorrow and look at it tomorrow night. Look at it tomorrow night sometime after I had a glass of sangria or something so I could watch it. Hopefully, it's something I could watch. But yeah, last night I was hot after last night. And that's why I don't come on. I told y'all I don't do post game shows because I'm liable to be like a lot of people that call my channel and say something emotional and stupid, and I don't want to be that way. So I'd rather wait, think about it, which I did last night, and I still woke up this morning pissed off about this game. I really did. So, yeah, we got to do better. Jalen Brunson has got to do better. Cat has got to do better, and Mikal's got to do better. Okay, I'm hoping this week off refreshes all of them. Well, Brunson, I don't know what the hell he was out with the ankle for 14 games. So I don't know. I'm concerned, but I don't know what's going on. If something private or whatever, but they need to get over it for the playoffs and come out ready to play. This is the NBA playoffs. This is the league. This ain't no joke. So the Pistons are ready. Boston is ready. Cleveland is ready. We better be ready. Y'all enjoy the game tonight. Hopefully we do better. Y'all be safe. Y'all enjoy your weekend. Shalom.